Hello, this is Sarah. My daughter said the party was canceled, but when I came to the restaurant, I found they were feasting at my expense, is the title of the tale I'm going to tell you today about Emily. Everyone, including my unfaithful ex, was present. Dad remarked, "He's like a son to us." I grabbed my present and departed without paying. All right, let's leave. At the age of 37, I find myself standing in front of my wardrobe, attempting to choose a suitable outfit for my parents' celebration of their 45th wedding anniversary. I'm Emily, and I can assure you that the past few months have been nothing short of terrible. 3 months ago, I finally got divorced from my cheating bastard of an ex-husband, and honestly, I'm still trying to piece my life back together. Let me give you some background here. I caught my husband with his mistress in our own damn bed after 15 years of marriage. This is what I get. But that wasn't even the worst part. The divorce proceedings were a nightmare that dragged on for months because he fought me over every single penny. He refused to do anything pre-trial, so we had to go through the whole court process. The guy had the audacity to refuse paying alimony for our 12-year-old daughter, Sarah. He even demanded a DNA test because he claimed I cheated on him. Me, the woman who stayed home, took care of his kid, and supported his career while he was out screwing around. The court ordered the DNA test, and surprise, surprise, Sarah is definitely his daughter. The judge ruled in my favor. We split everything 50-50, and now he pays good alimony for Sarah. After the divorce was finalized, I used my half of the assets to buy a nice apartment for me and Sarah. We needed a fresh start, away from all the memories of that toxic marriage. I put the remaining money in my savings account, and for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe again. My parents, Linda and Robert, they knew everything that happened during the divorce. They saw me crying. They knew about the cheating. They watched me struggle through those awful months in court. So, you can imagine my shock when my mom casually mentioned at dinner last week that she wanted to invite my ex-husband to their anniversary party. Mom, absolutely not, I told her firmly. There's no way in hell he's coming to your party. She looked at me with those puppy dog eyes and said, "But Emily, we always had such a good relationship with him. He's been part of our family for so long. He stopped being part of our family the moment he decided to cheat on your daughter," I shot back. "I'm not sitting at the same table as that man." My dad chimed in, "Come on, Emily, can't we all just get along for one night?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. These people watched me go through the worst time of my life, and they wanted to invite the guy who caused it all to their celebration. But I put my foot down hard, and they eventually agreed not to invite him. A few weeks ago, Mom asked me if I could help pay for the anniversary party. They wanted to have it at this really nice restaurant downtown with about 20 guests, including my older brother Mark, my sister Jessica, and their families, plus some close relatives and family friends. I had the money from the divorce settlement, so of course I said yes. I gave Mom enough cash to buy beautiful outfits for both her and Dad, and I gave her access to my account so she could book the restaurant and pay for everything. 2 weeks before the party, I called Mark and Jessica to meet at a coffee shop. I had this idea to pull our money together and buy Mom and Dad a really nice car as a surprise gift. I was thinking we could each chip in and get them that Honda they've been looking at, I said, stirring my latte. Mark immediately shook his head. "I don't have that kind of money right now, Em. Things are tight with the kids and all." Jessica nodded in agreement. "Same here. We already got them something nice, though." I was disappointed but not surprised. Mark works in finance, and Jessica's husband runs his own business. They're both doing well financially, but they've always been pretty tight with their money when it comes to family stuff. I accepted their decision and figured I'd just get something smaller instead. But that same evening, Mom called me up, and she was practically screaming with excitement. "Emily, I just talked to Mark, and he told me about the car. Oh my goodness, your father and I are so thrilled. We can't believe you want to do something so generous for us." My heart sank. I wanted to tell her that I had changed my mind, that Mark and Jessica had backed out, but she was so happy. I could hear Dad in the background asking what all the fuss was about, and then I heard him gasp when she told him. How could I crush their spirits like that? So, I did it. I went to the Honda dealership the next day and bought them the car. I put it in my name for insurance purposes and drove it over to their house a week before the party. When they saw me pull up in their driveway, they both started crying. Mom hugged me so tight, I thought she might break my ribs. You're such a good daughter, Dad said, wiping his eyes. We don't deserve you. Looking back now, those words feel pretty ironic. So, here I was this morning, getting ready for what I thought would be a beautiful celebration of my parents' 45 years together. I picked out this gorgeous blue dress that I'd been saving for a special occasion, did my hair, and even splurged on getting my nails done yesterday. I was just putting the finishing touches on my makeup when I heard the front door open. Sarah came running in, still wearing her bike helmet and looking out of breath. Mom, I just went to Grandma and Grandpa's house, she said, pulling off her helmet and shaking out her hair. Grandma asked me to tell you that the party isn't happening tonight. She said she's not feeling well. I stopped what I was doing and turned to face her. What do you mean the party isn't happening? When I got to their house, Grandma was lying on the couch with a wet towel on her forehead. She looked really pale and sick. Grandpa was sitting next to her, looking worried. Grandma told me to ride back here and tell you that they had to cancel the party because she's too sick to go. My heart dropped. All this preparation, the new dress, the excitement, and now it was all canceled. But more than disappointment, I felt worried about Mom's health. I immediately called her cell phone. Mom, Sarah just told me you're not feeling well. What's going on? Oh, Emily, she said in this frail voice I'd never heard before. I woke up this morning and I was so anxious about tonight. My blood pressure shot up. I got dizzy. I even had to call an ambulance earlier, but they said I just needed to rest. An ambulance? Mom, why didn't you call me? I didn't want to worry you, honey. And now your father's back is acting up from helping me get to the couch. We're both just a mess today. I'm so sorry about the party, but there's no way we can make it tonight. I could hear Dad groaning in the background, and Mom did sound genuinely sick. Do you want me to come over and help you with anything? I can bring some soup or help Dad with his back. No. Please don't worry about us. We just need to rest today. I'm so disappointed about the anniversary party, but what can we do? After I hung up, I sat on my bed, still in my beautiful blue dress, feeling deflated. Sarah came and sat next to me, and she looked just as disappointed as I felt. I really wanted to wear my new dress tonight, she said sadly. And I was looking forward to seeing everyone. I know, sweetheart. I was excited too, but Grandma and Grandpa's health is more important than a party. I started thinking about what we could do instead. Maybe we could salvage the evening somehow. I decided to call Jessica to see if she wanted to get together for dinner with our families instead. Hey, Jess, I just found out Mom and Dad had to cancel the anniversary party tonight. I was wondering if you and Tom want to grab dinner with me and Sarah. Maybe we could still make it a nice evening. There was a pause, and then Jessica said quickly, I'm actually busy tonight. We already made other plans. Oh, okay. Well, maybe we could do something tomorrow instead. Yeah, maybe. I have to go now, Talk to you later. She hung up really fast, which I thought was weird. Jessica usually talks my ear off. I decided to text Mark's wife, Amy, with the same suggestion. I typed, "Hey, Amy, the anniversary party got canceled because Mom's sick. Want to grab dinner with the families tonight instead?" Amy texted back within minutes. "Sorry, we're busy tonight too. Already have plans." Now I was getting suspicious. Both my siblings had plans on the same night as our parents' anniversary party. That seemed like a pretty big coincidence. Amy is always posting every little thing she does on Instagram, so I decided to check her page. I opened Instagram and went to Amy's profile. The most recent post was from just a few minutes ago. It was a photo of her in a gorgeous red dress, and the caption read, "Getting ready for my father-in-law's 45th anniversary celebration." So excited. I stared at the screen in complete shock. This post was made after Mom called to say the party was canceled, after I'd talked to both Jessica and Amy, and they both told me they were busy with other plans. My hands started shaking as the reality hit me. There was no way this was a coincidence. Amy posting about going to Dad's anniversary party right after Mom told me she was too sick to leave the couch? After both my siblings claimed they had other plans? I felt sick to my stomach. Were my parents lying to me? Did they actually cancel the party, or did they just cancel it for me and Sarah? I showed the post to Sarah. "Sweetie, look at this. What do you think this means?" Sarah read it and looked at me with wide eyes. "Mom, does this mean the party is still happening? Does this mean they lied to us?" I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but everything was adding up in the worst possible way. My parents telling me the party was canceled, my siblings both being mysteriously busy, and now Amy posting about getting ready for the exact same party that was supposedly canceled. I don't know, baby, but I think I need to find out what's really going on. I looked at myself in the mirror, still wearing my beautiful blue dress. Well, if there was still a party happening, maybe I should go see for myself. If I was wrong, I'd look like an idiot showing up to an empty restaurant. But if I was right, I left Sarah with Mrs. Peterson next door and drove to the restaurant with my heart pounding the whole drive there. I kept hoping I was wrong. Maybe Amy had made a mistake with her post. Maybe there was some other explanation. But deep down, I knew what I was going to find. I parked outside Romano's, the fancy Italian place where the party was supposed to be. Through the big windows, I could see people inside, all dressed up. My stomach twisted into knots as I walked toward the entrance. The hostess started leading me toward the back of the restaurant, and with every step, I felt more sick. When we reached the dining room, I stopped in the doorway and felt like someone had punched me in the gut. There they all were. Mom and Dad, looking perfectly healthy and happy, sitting at the head of a long table. Mark and Amy were there with their kids. Jessica and Tom were laughing about something. Various aunts, uncles, and family friends filled the other seats. And there, sitting right next to my father like he belonged there, was my ex-husband, Derek. He was wearing an expensive-looking suit and had that smug smile on his face that I remembered so well. The same smile he had when I caught him with his mistress. The hostess was still standing next to me, waiting to seat me, but I just stood there, frozen. Everyone was having such a good time. Mom wasn't lying on any couch with a wet towel. Dad wasn't groaning in pain from his back. They had lied to me. They had deliberately excluded me and Sarah from their own anniversary party. "Ma'am, would you like me to get you a chair?" the hostess asked. That's when everyone at the table noticed me. The laughter stopped. Conversations died mid-sentence. Every single person turned to look at me, standing in the doorway in my blue dress, and I watched their faces go white with shock. Everyone except Derek. He just sat back in his chair and gave me that mocking smile, like he was enjoying every second of this. Well, I said, looking around the table. What a surprise. "Mom, you're looking remarkably healthy for someone who was too sick to leave the couch an hour ago." Mom's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Dad looked down at his plate. Mark and Jessica wouldn't meet my eyes. "Emily," Mom finally stammered, we. "This isn't what it looks like." "Really?" "Because it looks like you lied to me and Sarah to keep us away from your party so you could invite my cheating ex-husband instead." Derek leaned forward and said, "Hey, Emily, you look good. Divorce suits you." I wanted to throw something at his smirking face, but I kept my composure. "Don't you dare speak to me." Mom found her voice again. "Emily, please don't make a scene. We can explain." "Oh, I'd love to hear this explanation. Please tell me how you were too sick to attend your own anniversary party, but somehow miraculously recovered in time to sit here laughing with the man who destroyed your daughter's marriage." Dad finally looked up. Derek brought us a very generous gift, and he said he really wanted to be here tonight. We've always had a good relationship with him, Emily. He's been like a son to us. I stared at my father in disbelief. Like a son to you? What about your actual daughter? What about your granddaughter, who was excited to wear her new dress tonight? Mom looked flustered and said, Derek has been helping Mark with his job situation, and he's doing so well financially now. We thought it would be nice to have him here. So, you chose him over me and Sarah? Jessica finally spoke up, but not to defend me. Emily, you're being ridiculous. Stop making a scene and just go home. We're trying to have a nice family dinner here. Mark nodded. Yeah, don't ruin Mom and Dad's special night. Just leave quietly, and we can talk about this later. I looked around the table at all these people, my parents, who I had bought a car for, my siblings, who I had tried to include in gift giving, my relatives and family friends, who were just sitting there watching this drama unfold, and my ex-husband, who was clearly loving every minute of my humiliation. Then something clicked inside me. I suddenly felt calm. I smiled at all of them. You know what? You're absolutely right. I should leave. Derek's smile got even wider. Good girl. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I ignored him and looked at my parents. I hope you enjoy your dinner. I really do. I turned and walked out of the dining room with my head held high. But before I left, I had some business to take care of. I sat in my car in the parking lot and pulled out my phone. First, I called my bank and had them immediately block my mother's access to my account. The automated system confirmed that any attempts to charge the account would be declined, effective immediately. Then I called AA Towing Service. Hi, I need to have my car towed from Romano's restaurant on 5th Street. It's a blue Honda Civic, license plate number BXR 4429. I have all the ownership documents with me. Is this an emergency situation, ma'am? Yes, I need it done right now. The car is legally mine, and I want it moved to my home address. I can meet your driver there with the paperwork. We can have someone there within the hour. Perfect. I drove home to wait for the tow truck, feeling more satisfied than I had in months. My parents had no idea what was coming their way. I got home around 9 o'clock and picked up Sarah from Mrs. Peterson's house. She was in her pajamas already but still awake and waiting for me. How did it go, Mom? Was the party really still happening? I sat down on the couch next to her and took a deep breath. Yeah, sweetie, the party was definitely still happening. Everyone was there, including some people who shouldn't have been. Sarah looked at me with those big, understanding eyes that made her seem older than 12. They lied to us, didn't they? Yes, they did. But you know what? We're going to be just fine. How about we order some pizza and have our own little celebration? Can we get extra cheese? We can get whatever you want. We ordered pizza and sat on the couch, eating and watching movies. It was actually really nice. Just the two of us, no drama, no lies, no people pretending to be sick when they weren't. Just me and my daughter, having a good time together. Around 11 o'clock, my phone started buzzing. First, it was Mom calling, then Dad, then Mark, then Jessica. I didn't answer any of them. I just let them all go to voicemail. Then the text messages started flooding in. From Mom, Emily, we can't pay for dinner. Your account is being declined. Please call me back. From Dad, something's wrong with your bank account. The restaurant bill won't go through. Please fix this. From Mark, Mom and Dad are freaking out about the bill. What's going on? I waited about 10 minutes, then sent a single text message to my mother. I blocked your access to my account. From now on, I won't be helping you financially anymore. Then I sent another message. By the way, there's a surprise waiting for you in the parking lot. My phone immediately started ringing again. I ignored it. About 10 minutes later, the panicked messages started coming in fast. Mom, Emily, where is our car? The Honda isn't in the parking lot. Dad, where did you take our car? This is theft. Mark, you can't just take their car back. That was a gift. I replied to all of them with one message. You proved tonight that you don't deserve my gifts. I don't want to communicate with any of you anymore. Ask Derek to pay for your dinner. Then I blocked all their numbers on my phone. Sarah was watching me do all this, and she didn't say anything, but I could tell she understood what was happening. Are we never going to see Grandma and Grandpa again? She asked quietly. I don't know, sweetheart. They hurt us really badly tonight. Sometimes, when people hurt you that much, you need to take a break from them to protect yourself. She nodded, like that made sense to her. I'm not sad about missing the party anymore. I had more fun tonight with just you. That made me smile. Me too, baby. Me too. The next morning, I returned the Honda to the dealership where I had bought it. Since I'd only had it for a week and it was in perfect condition, they agreed to buy it back for almost exactly what I had paid for it. I deposited the money right back into my savings account. 2 days later, I was at the grocery store when I ran into my Aunt Carol. Carol is my dad's sister, and she's the biggest gossip in the family. She loves drama more than anything else in the world, so of course, she was at the anniversary party. She grabbed my arm the moment she saw me. Emily, oh my goodness, I have to tell you what happened at the restaurant after you left. I didn't really want to hear it, but I also kind of did. What happened, Carol? Well, after you left, your parents tried to pay for dinner with your account, like they had planned, but it kept getting declined. They tried 3 different times, and it wouldn't work. Your mother was getting more and more panicked. Carol was practically vibrating with excitement as she told me this story. So then, they asked Mark and Jessica to pay for dinner, but both of them said they hadn't brought their credit cards. Can you believe that? Who goes to a fancy restaurant without a credit card? I could actually believe that. My siblings are always careful with money when it comes to anyone else's expenses. So then, Carol continued, your parents asked Derek to pay for the dinner. He said, I already gave you a gift. I'm not paying for dinner too. Just like that, after all the trouble your mother went through to make sure he could come. I had to admit, that was pretty satisfying to hear. Your mother started crying right there at the table. She said, because of you, we've lost our daughter, and now you won't even help us pay for dinner. Derek got all huffy and said it wasn't his fault you were being dramatic. Then your father told Derek that maybe he should leave. Carol was really getting into the story now. Derek got up and took his gift with him, and he told Mark that he was going to get him fired from his job, since Derek had helped him get it in the first place. Then he just walked out. What happened after that? Well, all the guests started feeling uncomfortable. People started making excuses and leaving. Eventually, your parents had to pay for the whole dinner with their credit card, and they were not happy about it. I tried to look sympathetic, but honestly, I felt like they got exactly what they deserved. And then, when they went out to the parking lot, their car was gone. Your mother was crying even harder, and your father was yelling about calling the police until Mark reminded him that the car was legally yours. Sounds like quite an evening, I said. Emily, I have to ask, did you really take their car back? The car was mine, Carol. I bought it. It was registered in my name, and I decided I wanted it back. Carol nodded, like this was the most reasonable thing in the world. Well, I can't say I blame you. What they did to you was pretty awful, lying about being sick just to keep you away so they could invite Derek. That's low, even for your mother. Last Saturday, I was sitting in my living room, reading when I heard a knock at my door. I looked through the peephole and saw Mom and Dad standing there. They looked tired and sad, which was a big change from how happy they had looked at their party. I opened the door but didn't invite them in. What do you want? Mom's eyes were red, like she'd been crying. Emily, please, we need to talk. We know we messed up, and we're sorry. We want to make this right. We realized we made a terrible mistake. Dad added, we should never have lied to you. We should never have chosen Derek over you and Sarah. You're right. You shouldn't have. Can we have the car back? Mom asked. We really need it for getting around. I looked at both of them, standing there on my doorstep. I already returned the car to the dealership and got my money back. Their faces fell. You sold it. I sold it. And before you ask, no, I'm not buying you another one. Dad tried a different approach. Emily, we're family. Families forgive each other. Can't we work this out? You know what, Dad? You're right that families should forgive each other. But families also shouldn't lie to each other. Families shouldn't choose the person who hurt their daughter over their own daughter. And families shouldn't exclude a 12-year-old girl from her grandparents' anniversary party. Mom started crying again. We know we were wrong. Please, just give us another chance. I need you both to leave now. I'm not ready to talk about this. They tried to argue a little more, but eventually, they left. Since then, they've been sending me messages from different phone numbers and email addresses, trying to get me to respond. Sometimes it's apologies, sometimes it's Mark or Jessica trying to convince me to forgive them. I don't answer any of them. I know they think I'm being too harsh. I know they want me to just get over it and go back to being the daughter who pays for their parties and buys them cars. But I can't do that anymore. They showed me exactly where I stand in their priorities. Sarah asks me sometimes if I think we'll ever talk to them again. I tell her I honestly don't know. Maybe someday I'll be ready to forgive them, but right now, I'm still too hurt and angry. They broke something between us that night. What I do know is that Sarah and I are doing just fine on our own. We're building a life that doesn't include people who lie to us, and for now, that feels like exactly what we need.